to William Baptiste, humanrightsandfreedomsforever.com to learn more, to make donations for democracy, or to order Pro-Life Equals Pro-Democracy or other books featuring William Baptiste's Human Rights Education for Lasting Free Democracy. Since 2016, the U.S. and the world have undergone the shocks and throes and convulsions of great division, which Abraham Lincoln predicted must ceaselessly follow the extension of a major human rights abuse, legal slavery in his day, legal abortion in our day. Thus, Lincoln said, "A house divided against itself cannot stand. It will cease to be divided. It will become all one thing or all the other." The fundamental incompatibility between democracy built on equal human rights and legal slavery or legal abortion, which both deny equal human rights to all humans, will incessantly scream for resolution, and in the end we will have to keep democracy and lose legal abortion, as we lost legal slavery, or else keep legal abortion and lose democracy. Jordan Peterson's fellow Canadian intellectual for free speech, nonpartisan thinker and logician William Baptiste is tired of pro-choice creeping totalitarianism, taking away normal democratic freedoms of speech, expression, assembly, conscience, and religion of pro-life human rights advocates, including doctors who follow the 2,500-year Hippocratic medical tradition that doctors don't kill. Officially pro-choice political parties in Canada keep acidinely insisting the abortion debate, the human rights for all humans debate, is settled in their favor, all while they pass laws making peaceful pro-life human rights advocacy a crime in order to silence the free speech of pro-lifers. All because pro-choice politicians simply cannot win a respectful, intellectually honest, rational, scientific, and rigorously logical debate about abortion. Abortion, which was first legalized by the evil Soviets and Nazis specifically because neither believed that killing humans is wrong. A proper, intelligent, and intellectually honest human rights educated abortion debate, human rights for all humans debate, has never occurred, neither in the author's country nor anywhere else. Pro-Life Equals Pro-Democracy is William Baptiste's initial contribution to an honest, intelligent dialogue which actually considers and does not ignore established facts of human rights history and biological science. A dialogue which is conducted honestly, according to sound logic, avoiding the logical fallacies of the intellectually dishonest, which include every single argument typically proposed for legal abortion. Pro-Life Equals Pro-Democracy, with its intellectual honesty challenge, intends to both actually start and successfully end the human rights for all humans debate, the abortion debate, once and for all. With a bonus chapter applying this human rights education to current American and world politics to help make the 2020 American election about lasting democracy. When judged according to the objective standards of science and logic and undisputed facts of human rights history, the pro-choice position for legal abortion is revealed as not even remotely intellectually defensible and not even remotely acceptable in a lasting democracy, which can only last on democracy's historic pro-life foundations. Americans, get Pro-Life Equals Pro-Democracy and make the 2020 election about the U.S. leading the world's democracies by ending decades of creeping totalitarianism, by ending legal human-killing abortion. Legal abortion which was started by the politically extremist and genocidal totalitarian Nazis and Soviets because they didn't believe killing humans is wrong, and because legal human killing is, of course, inherently extremist. Canadians, get Pro-Life Equals Pro-Democracy and stop the embarrassment of your country leading the world in creeping totalitarianism, now accelerating with increasing attacks on normal democratic freedoms of speech, expression, assembly, conscience, and religion. Get this book's human rights education for lasting free democracy and end the embarrassment of officially pro-choice Canadian political parties and politicians, uneducated in human rights history, science, and logic, ignorantly and witlessly suppressing free democracy, precisely targeting Canadian citizens with the traditional Western pro-life family values which free democracy was literally, historically, and logically built on. End pro-choice politicians' suppression of the democratic freedoms of citizens and doctors who actually believe in the fundamentally pro-life foundational principles of human rights and democracy. Breaking news!
Yet another Canadian province swiftly introduces and passes a
totalitarian
bubble zone law banning free speech of the pro-life foundational principles of human rights and democracy, precisely where it is most pertinent to speak out for equal human rights for all humans. Instead of in mere weeks, this time in only 8 days, March 2nd to 10th, 2020, just before this video was posted. A new record. Normal democratic freedoms disappearing in Canada, where pro-choice totalitarian politicians ignorantly and aggressively follow the inherently totalitarian legal human killing by abortion precedent of the genocidal Soviets and Nazis, because Canada, like Europe before the Holocaust, has lost its democratic soul and no longer even upholds the equal human preciousness without exception which upholds free democracy. Now even more Canadians are subject to arrest and imprisonment for peacefully advocating for democracy grounding equal human rights for all humans, just like human rights advocates are arrested in totalitarian states like those which were first to legalize abortion.
Help William Baptiste and other Canadian human rights advocates and traditional non-killing Hippocratic doctors get back their free speech to say killing humans is wrong because human rights are for all humans without being arrested and jailed under current pro-choice creeping totalitarian laws in Canada and some of its provinces. Please note, this video, the books and the website William Baptiste Human Rights and Freedoms Forever.com, which samples William Baptiste's human rights education for lasting free democracy, will be called controversial because people will vigorously disagree about the message that pro-life equals pro-democracy and pro-choice equals pro-totalitarianism because killing humans is wrong because human rights are for all humans. But the facts presented to prove this are not controversial. In his books, William Baptiste argues mostly from well-known, at least to scholars, easily verifiable or even like textbook facts of science, logic, and human rights history. So, the human rights education for lasting free democracy in William Baptiste's books will be called controversial only because so many people of pro-choice bent are simply not used to forming their opinions through logical thinking, which is why every single argument typically proposed for legal abortion is what the science of logic calls a fallacy of distraction, which with great intellectual dishonesty avoids the question of the human rights of the humans indisputably killed in abortions. These books will be called controversial only because pro-choice thinkers are also not used to scientific thinking, like the preborn humans are humans, and not used to thinking things through from start to finish, from first principles to sound conclusions. Pro-life equals pro-democracy will be called controversial only because so many people simply do not even know enough about human rights history to have an educated and intelligent opinion on human life issues. William Baptiste's books will be called controversial only because pro-choice politicians are witlessly totalitarian-oriented ideologues far too uneducated in science, logic, and human rights history to even know how inherently totalitarian are their pro-choice legal human-killing abortion policies. They didn't even notice how inherently totalitarian and against democratic free speech it was when they passed laws in William Baptiste's country, which means he can be arrested and imprisoned for saying killing humans is wrong because human rights are for all humans, just like in totalitarian states. For a brief time, all of the world's pro-choice politicians, and officially pro-choice political parties, have a window of opportunity in which to save face for having witlessly adopted the inherently totalitarian and inherently bigoted legal human-killing mindset by being pro-choice, and like all bigots, choosing just which humans they recognize as having equal worth and rights and which humans they do not value equally. For a short time, they can claim that they just didn't know any better because they simply did not have the necessary human rights education which overwhelmingly proves pro-life equals pro-democracy and pro-choice equals pro-totalitarianism. But now that they have been exposed to the facts, they will change their position to pro-life and thus finally start supporting democracy-grounding equal human rights for all humans, without any bigoted exceptions, as intellectual honesty demands. Anyone who disagrees with William Baptiste's presentation of overwhelming facts of science, logic, and human rights history that prove pro-life equals pro-democracy is hereby given the intellectual honesty challenge published in his book, Pro-Life Equals Pro-Democracy, and on William Baptiste Human Rights and Freedoms Forever.com. Send your attempts to intelligently justify remaining pro-choice to honestychallenge at William Baptiste Human Rights and Freedoms Forever.com. Good luck with that. William Baptiste's scholar's testimony against legal human killing by abortion cannot be ignored. He speaks as a representative of the millions of his ethnic and religious background murdered in the legal Holodomor genocide by the very same atheist Soviet socialist government which was the first government to legalize abortion because these political extremists did not believe killing humans is wrong. Those who dishonestly attempt to ignore his testimony and warning where the legal abortion path comes from and where it naturally leads to are, in addition to the intellectual honesty challenge, given the challenge of the millions murdered.
William Baptiste's work is crucial, says Dr. Andrew Bennett, Senior Fellow at the Religious Freedom Institute, Washington, D.C., Director at the Cardus Religious Freedom Institute in Ottawa, and Canada's first Ambassador of Religious Freedom, appointed by Prime Minister Stephen Harper. Go to William Baptiste Human Rights and Freedoms Forever.com to learn more, to make donations for democracy, or to order William Baptiste's books, which contain the solid human rights education for lasting free democracy, which is a vital part of the winning strategy for the culture of life to win the cultural war with the culture of death, to save humanity forever from bigotry and creeping totalitarianism, a winning strategy also found in William's books. Your support and contributions of volunteer time, talent, and/or treasure will enable us to educate the world's voters and politicians in the foundational principles of human rights and democracy. Your generous donations will fund Human Rights and Freedoms Forever's mission of ensuring lasting human rights and democratic freedoms for all, secure on their traditional historical and logical foundations, ending insidious creeping totalitarianism in compromised Western democracies. You and your friends and family can become knights of human rights and ladies of lasting democracy, protecting and preserving democratic and religious freedoms and democracy grounding equal human rights for all humans, for our children and grandchildren. Nonpartisan thinker and logician William Baptiste calls all the world's political parties, of left and right, to together constitutionally enshrine equal human preciousness, nonpartisan human rights for all humans, in order to explicitly restore the foundational principles of human rights and democracy if they have strayed from these human preciousness in their country. Equal human rights for all humans, in order to explicitly restore the foundation